That's a matter of finding out when I go live. Alright. Hello, everybody. So, you're watching this as a video, real quick, you're probably looking going, this isn't Siege. No, it's not. Uh, Unfortunately, the way I kind of have to do this, I can't have Siege gameplay in the background. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. We are going to be talking about the upcoming season and a few other things, getting some opinions. I'm joined here by Matthew. I was really gonna say something else, but yeah, Matt's here and he's I think he's playing Siege right now. But
I am.
yeah, so we're after we do this, I might stream Siege. Like literally right after this ends, I might head over to Twitch and stream it, or I might stream it here. I don't know, but let's go ahead and get into it. So, the next operation is Operation Grimsky. If you've been living under a rock, as far as the Rainbow Six Siege community, this is going to be really great for you. So the new season is supposedly coming out September 3rd, which is Labor Day. I have a little trouble thinking it will come out on Labor Day, so I'm probably thinking the 4th. But I mean, hey, if it comes out on Monday and everyone's out, that's going to look really good for Gooby. So, in front of me, I have the Operation Grimsky test server balancing feedback. Now, this is all the changes they're going to be making when the season comes out. So, in the first update you get, so when it rolls out, the update you're going to get is going to contain all these changes versus what it is now. So we started off with Maverick, who possibly got the quickest nerf in Rainbow Six Siege history. Which, I mean, you have to think Maverick is going to be, I don't want to necessarily say a must pick on every team, but he's definitely going to be a very valuable operator. Being able to combat bandit tricking is the big thing, so that's indirectly a nerf to bandit. But let's go ahead and, before we get into that, go into the changes they're making with Maverick. So, oh Jesus, my computer just scrolled to the bottom of the page. What the fuck? Okay.
There you go.
So the big thing was his blowtorch damage, dude. I swear to God, I clicked on the scroll thing and I moved it down just a little bit and it flew to the bottom. That was weird. So the first thing listed is blowtorch damage to barbed wire. Now, if you've seen what he could do to barbed wire before, it was like he literally just like held it for half a second. The barbed wire was gone. So what they say is he's too good at removing the barbed wire. So now it'll take half a canister, half of his blowtorch canister, to destroy the barbed wire, which is approximately 2 seconds. Shooting for 1 second is going to reduce the health, so it'll only take 1 melee hit instead of 2 or 3. I think it's 2 now. I'm still stuck in the old days. So, and we see this. This is, barbed wire is extremely important. It is probably the second best equipment for defenders in the game right now. Number one, obviously, being the impact grenade. The impact grenade really changed the way defense has been played. It opens up a bunch of new possibilities. Matt mentioned just now, it gives you a lot more aggressive play, which it does. You know, you can impact a wall and just straight run through it and wreck people. You know, you could impact grenade a window, hop out into their spawn, and do what you gotta do. So, but barbed wire, I believe the last update we got actually buffed barbed wire to where it makes you slower while you're in it. And it makes more noise. I think that was in the mid-season, what is it called? Mid-season reinforcements for Operation Portobello Mushroom. So, it's kind of good for defenders in that aspect, that Maverick, I mean, I will admit, it was a little OP with how he did it. So, this is a change I completely agree with. So as far as his equipment, he had a smoke grenade, and they took it away and gave him a stun. This, again, I've already said I'm going to be a Maverick main, and I'm hurt that they did this, because I was already really looking forward to being a Maverick main. But it does make sense. You have to think, with his blowtorch, it goes through reinforced walls, so, you know, you still would need, it would still be very wise to bring a Thermite or Hibana to go along with Maverick. Which we also might see Maverick replacing Thatcher, especially because Thatcher's stun grenade, or not his stun grenade, his EMP grenade will no longer destroy cameras. It will only disable them. So we might see Thatcher start falling off a little bit more than he would have had they not do that. And again, we go back to Maverick being able to indirectly counter Bandit by putting a hole in that reinforced wall. So if anyone's trying to Bandit trick, or if the person's insane enough to try and mute trick something, first off, that's a bona fide top 5% player right there if they can do that. It's very hard to pull that off. But and speaking of mute, this might actually give mute a little boost in defender pick rates, as far as in higher skill ranked games. So we're talking about Pro League, Diamond, Plat games. I don't believe mid-tier Silver and Gold will probably see too much of a change. It is very apparent that the meta for the top tier players, as opposed to average, which, if you don't know, most people are in the high gold or high silver, low gold area. That's where a majority of the player base is. That's where the majority of the player base has been. And it makes sense because that's kind of the middle ground. So it'll take a little bit of getting used to for that. But they did take away his smoke, and they simply said, including a smoke grenade in Maverick's kit gives him too much utility. That makes complete sense. Smoke is extremely strong. Now I don't know.
You see the flame through the smoke?
Well, the point is like well, the smokes are extremely strong. Especially when they finally decided to buff them a little bit. To where client side didn't matter, but the point is, smoke is one of the strongest equipment on the attacking team, which I'm almost thinking, did they do this to nerf Glaz? They are going to nerf Glaz due to a bug. It started with a bug, and they're just going to nerf him. So we'll get into that a little bit later. But so they took his smoke and gave him a stun. They increased the blowtorch volume, they say slightly. I don't know if y'all have seen any gameplay of Maverick, but his blowtorch was damn near non-audible. Like, you could not hear it at all. So they say they want to keep it quiet, but, you know, not to where it's like a fucking thermite charge going off. But just enough to where if it's completely quiet, you might hear it start chewing through wood or something like that. They touch on the blowtorch fuel here. They say they cannot increase the fuel cost for breaching, but they can reduce the overall ammo. And they are going to wait. So basically they're saying, hey, a lot of the feedback from the people on the TTS is, hey, Maverick is breaking through this many walls. Can we increase the fuel cost it takes to break hatches? Reinforced hatches, I know, is a big one. And there also is a hatchery work that we'll get into as well. Or walls. And that's what they said. They can't increase the fuel cost, so how much it would take Maverick to make a certain circle in a wall. They can't increase that, but they can lower his ammo he has for his blowtorch. But they said they want to get more data before making that change. Again, they touch on the blowtorch range here, which if you don't know, Maverick can actually open up holes above him, which a lot of people are now like, well, that pretty much makes Buck useless. I disagree because of another fix we're gonna get into. But yeah, so they want to say they would prefer to avoid reducing the range of the blowtorch if at all possible. It is extremely delicate aspect of his gadget and will require months of work to adjust. So basically, we are not going to see a blowtorch range decrease anytime soon. The closest time we'll see it is 3 months down the line in a mid-season reinforcement one, basically, is what they're saying. Clash. There's not much on Clash here. All it says is we are going to monitor Clash's performance, but do not see an immediate need for any drastic changes. There may be some tweaks in Year 3, Season 3.2, depending on what we see when Grimsky goes live. I disagree with this. I think Clash needs to be fixed, but only one aspect of her needs to be fixed. And I don't know if this was intentional on Ubisoft's part, but if you haven't seen Clash's shield is completely transparent. You can see through it. Fuck you, Ryan. I had to say that. Fuck you, Ryan. So her shield is completely transparent. Now, what a lot of people are doing is they're just putting Clash outside. What are you gonna do? Shoot her? Her fucking shield's up, and then they're having a teammate. Let's say Rook, Doc, someone with an ACOG, having just sitting behind Clash, kind of looking, and then Clash will move, bang. So it's almost kind of working like a Black Mirror in that aspect, and that seems almost a little overpowered to me, as far as that goes, but other than that, I don't have any complaints. I feel her weapons are extremely unique. Okay, thanks PlayStation. She does have impact nades. I think most of the 3 armors actually have impact nades. I know Rook does. Doc doesn't. Echo doesn't. Never mind. Forget what I said. I'm dumb. But she does have impact nades. She has a pistol with a sight very similar to the Polish operators. So it has a sight very similar to Ella and Zofia's red dot sight on their pistols. That goes for not only her normal pistol, but also her quote-unquote machine pistol that is a 2-round burst. So that'll be interesting seeing that. I've heard a lot of people say it takes a little bit of getting used to. But I think, you know, I had asked for a shield operator on defense, and I'm getting one, so no complaints. I also asked for a sniper on defense before Matt can beat me to the punch. I think it's a good idea. We'll get into that later. Yeah, I know. You always have something to say. You always got something to say about my sniper on defense, you bitch.
How is that going to work when you're inside a building?
I'm telling you, she or he, preferably she. I don't know why I want it to be a she, but I just feel like...
He just wants her to be thick.
Bro, I'm saying this bitch has a 50 cal, bolt action, right? It's a bolt action that you put 1 bullet in at a time. No magazine, you have to carry it over the shoulder, and you have to be completely stationary in order to shoot. I think that's a great idea. I'm just saying. And then she has a machine pistol secondary. I feel like that's fair. That's all I'm saying.
Anyways, don't forget,
That's all I'm
Clash, you can go up to melee or shield, and if you do that, she steps back, and her shield lowers by a little bit, so you can still hit her and kill her.
Yeah, basically, if you haven't seen it, Clash has the same animations that a Blitz would. It's kind of like a mixture between Blitz and Montagne. If you melee, I'm trying to make everyone happy with my pronunciation of his name. A lot of people say Montagne, a lot of people say Montaigne, some people just say fuck it and call him Montana. Yeah, Monty, I feel like we can all come together on Monty, so it's very similar to Monty and Blitz, where if you melee Blitz's shield, he like flares back like he's like just heard the worst news ever. And
Oh, no.
he's wide open for, yeah, exactly. But if you melee Monty's shield while it's fully extended, he just kind of brushes it off like, fuck you, bitch. It's kind of a hybrid between those. So the most effective way to deal with a Clash with her shield fully extended, there is an animation period for it to get fully extended. But if you just come in, it's already fully extended. If you melee it, shoot her feet. Because her feet are one of the areas that become exposed on it. So
Nick's got a foot fetish.
I don't, but I do have a person I played sports with that has a foot fetish. And it's really, no, it's more of an ankle fetish. Never mind. Let's not get into that.
Let's not get into this.
Recoil. Oh, I know Matt has something to say on this one. Recoil. So first and foremost, they know shotgun recoil, in which the shotgun recoil, they say, is not working as it should. They are working on a fix, but will not have it ready by the release of Grim Sky. It will likely come at some point during this season. I don't know if they want shotguns to kick a little more. Admittedly, they don't kick that much. The only one I can think that, or the only two that come to mind that really kick are the Boss G, which makes sense, it being a semi-auto 2-slug shotgun. It makes sense for that one. And I don't know what the in-game name of it is, but the AA-12 shotgun that the Italian operators have, which also makes sense. It's the 31 mag fully automatic shotgun. The Mossberg doesn't really kick that much. The 1014 doesn't really kick that much. The Mate 70 doesn't really kick that much. The Sausage doesn't kick that much. So I wonder if they're... Dude, I call it the Sausage because you can put a suppressor on it. It's just so fun to do.
The Sausage.
So yeah, I think they're probably going to increase the shotgun recoil. Now, we go to the big one that everyone wants to be butthurt about, the machine pistol recoil. It says, we are going to give this a few weeks and not rush into any adjustments right now. You want to push the secondary weapons to being true secondary weapons, as opposed to their primary weapons. We may go about this in a different way and make adjustments to the recoil in the future, but not prior to the release of Grim Sky. So, the main machine pistols they're hitting here are Smoke's SMG-11 and the Bearing 9. Those were the two intended ones because, especially with the Bearing 9, it's a laser. It honestly, I would compare the Bearing 9 has the recoil right now that the SMG-11 did at the beginning of the game when you could put a fucking ACOG on the SMG-11. You used to be able to put an ACOG on the SMG-11. It was a headshot machine. No gun could compete with it, and it was fixed rather quickly. But here they note we want to push the secondary weapons to being true secondary weapons. So this is indirectly a nerf to Smoke. So now maybe you have to think a little bit more about, do I want to bring that shotgun or do I want to bring the FMG9? Personally, I like using the FMG9. It's a little bit more fun, I feel like. That's just me. But we can also see this as almost a nerf to Hibana, which I don't necessarily agree with. Because Hibana, with them increasing the machine pistol recoil, it puts Hibana in a very interesting place. And we'll also talk about Hibana in the second with how she has a new update to her. Hibana is going to be in a very weird place when Grim Sky starts, as well as Dokkaebi will definitely be in an interesting place. So, like, if you play Hibana a lot, you think, when I play Hibana, I'm using her Type 89. If you use the pump shoddy on Hibana, you better be trolling. Let's be honest. You're trolling, you're memeing, or you're just dicking around. That's fine. What's it, the Supernova? But if you're trying to be competitive, you're using the Type 89, most likely with an ACOG. But the Bearing 9 can be used as a primary, honestly. You have to think if we compare and contrast the Bearing 9 to her Type 89, the Type 89 has 20 rounds in a mag plus 1 in the chamber. The Bearing has 30 in a mag plus 1 in the chamber. The Type 89 fires decently quick, but the Bearing 9 fires at 1,200 rounds a minute. Now, more bullets downstream obviously is going to help you kill something a little quicker. Not to mention it doesn't have that much recoil. But I believe the reason they gave her a machine pistol in the first place was to kind of help her with that 21 round magazine. Now, of course you could say, well, you shouldn't need 21 rounds. You should not need 21 rounds to kill all 5 players on the other team. Because of how this game is based. This is a game based on one-shot headshots. So technically, yeah, you shouldn't need 21 or 31 rounds to kill 5 people. You should need 5 bullets. But obviously, that's not very realistic, you know, unless you're aimbotting. So that puts Hibana in a weird place. And I know Matt is especially aggravated because he started to play Vigil a little bit more. But I don't really think this is going to hurt Vigil very much. I'd love to hear your thoughts as a temporary Vigil main. So let's go ahead and get Matt's take. Matt hasn't talked a whole lot, so what's your take on them increasing the machine pistol recoil?
Well, I mean, to me, I don't use the machine pistol often. I usually, if I have to go in for the kill, I'll pull it out first so I can use my primary. But whenever I play with it, it's like it already goes towards the ceiling, and then if you add it more, it's like going up to someone just to pre-fire on them. You're just, by the time you pre-fire, you already hit the ceiling, and they're already going to get a headshot on you. But I mean, I don't use it that much, so I won't be affected that much about it. I could probably just bullshit around with it if I don't really care about winning. I just want to do something fun. But for the most part, that's recoil, and that's not going to affect me. Not in a long run. I could probably still go work with Vigil. It's just, I feel like, and Nick disagrees with me, but I feel like they should bring it back because I used to main Ela a lot, and.
Oh, I got something to say about this. Oh, no, I knew you were going to talk about this. I already got notes pulled up. Hold on. Go ahead. I got notes pulled up.
He's going to prove me wrong or some shit, or really it's my opinion. But really, they already took one of her mines away, and so a lot of the rooms
one of her Gersmont mines.
Yeah, one of her Gersmont mines. Well, a lot of the rooms in the game, there's more than just 2 ways to get in there, so you're having to cover for those entrances. So you throw 3 of them, and that means you're out of goo. And so on the while you're out roaming, I'd rather have an impact.
You've been playing Legion too much.
Yeah, I have actually. It's been a while, but your Gersmont mines, they're out, and while I'm roaming around, since I ain't got a Gersmont to help me out, I at least want an impact. I don't want a shield. I don't want a barbed wire, and the recoil on her gun. I'm not saying back to how it used to be. I'm saying just a little bit, just a wee little bit, not much, not like the real Ela mains are like, oh, it should make her gun a laser again, because I agree, there shouldn't be a laser on this game. But her gun has a little too much recoil.
Which is why I'm very interested to see what they're going to do with Maestro's LMG. That thing is 81 rounds of pure, you don't even have to touch your right stick. So
you know what's surprising is, even though that's a thing, people still fucking potato with it.
I will admit, when I put an ACOG on that, I potato a lot more than I do with a hollow, so I don't even use an ACOG on Maestro anymore. So if you guys don't know, when Ela, I don't want to necessarily say when she first came out, but Matt played a lot of Ela. And so I believe the first nerf they gave to Ela was taking away one of her Gersmonts. So she used to have 4 Gersmonts, and this is the same with Valkyrie. Valkyrie also used to have 4 cams. And they saw that, hey, nerfing Valkyrie by taking away one of her black eyes put her in a good spot. Of course, they also later nerfed the shotgun, but that was a problem with shotguns across the board, not Valkyrie. So I believe they did that to Ela because when she first came out, I don't think anyone will argue that she was, at that point, the most overpowered operator that admitted, more than Blackbeard when he had his 800 rifle shield, his 800 health rifle shield, and a lot of people didn't even think that rifle shield broke. They thought it was completely invincible. That's what a lot of people had thought, and that's how overpowered Blackbeard was, to give you a perspective on how powerful Ela was when she came out. When Ela first came out, her Scorpion had a 51 round magazine and fired at, I'm pretty sure it's over 1,000 rounds a minute, and it barely moved. And Matt also mentioned she used to have impacts. Well, he didn't mention she used to have impacts, he said he wanted impacts, but that's because she used to have impacts.
Yeah. They think come in handy when you ain't got any Gersmots around.
But the reason, and I agree with how they nerfed Ela, they took away 10 rounds of her magazine. A lot of people were complaining that it was too much, and they were like, we want her to have a big magazine. That adds to her uniqueness. Okay, fair enough. That's fine. And I actually have my highest KD ratio on defense with Ela. I think I have like a 3-something KD with Ela on defense. And they upped her recoil a little bit. Took away one of her Gersmonts. And that was that. And after a little bit, they were like, okay, she's still overpowered. They took away her impact nades. I believe in turn gave her barbed wire? Or she already have barbed wire?
She had a shield impacts, and then they took away the impacts and gave her barbed wire.
Barbed wire? Okay.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, at that point you have to think Ela's 3-speed. You know, pretty much the best place to be in the game. 3-speed usually means a tiny hitbox. 51 round magazine that was still, for the most part, very, very little recoil. That hit like a truck and had impacts. And as I mentioned earlier, impacts are the best equipment you can have as a defender. It opens up so many doors for you. Literally opens up so many doors for you to be able to do things.
That pun, though.
Yeah. So,
you got jokes.
Do I believe they nerfed Ela a little too hard? I'm a little indifferent about it. You know, some people say no, they didn't nerf her hard enough. Some people go, yeah, they nerfed her too much. I'm pretty much in the middle. Now, I'm trying to figure out how I want to make my next point.
I was gonna say that.
Oh, go ahead.
I can agree. Her magazine was a little much. I didn't mind.
It's down to 41 now. I think 41's a good spot for that. Not being an
LMG. I was sort of aggravated, but I accepted that one mine had to go. But where it threw me off is when they increased her recoil, and I was like, well, at least I got impact, and they took away the impact. Like, I feel like that's a little more handy to have around than barbed wire, especially with a roamer.
Well, that's why they took it away from her, though. It's the same. It's the same thing as them taking away Maverick's smoke grenade.
Yeah, but I mean, hell, it's
Maverick also being a 3-speed.
Yeah, I mean, hell, you're not when you're on a roamer and you're having to dedicate most of your feature to the objective, and you're a roamer, and what I mean, just roaming around by yourself with no help. That's just like, hey, I'm a recruit with a better gun. you know, and a little bit more speed. That's not right to me. That's how I see it. Just a glorified recruit is what you're trying to be. If you roam around without having any of your like equipment, and they say, oh, you just throw 2 in objective and just keep 1 for yourself. Well, majority of the time, there's not there's some point in time where you have to have all 3 in objective, especially when you're in bomb.
And I
'Cause you
think
can't.
an aspect often overlooked by Ella is her secondary.
Her
She
secondary is pretty good.
she as of right now has the only secondary in the full release of the game that has a weapon sight already attached to it. She has the only semi-automatic secondary that has a sight attached to it. So maybe that has something to do with their fixes a little bit. I mean, I know I'm comparing semi-auto pistols, but if you look at the South Korean C75 that has the sights of 3 cinder blocks and kicks like a damn mule already, not to mention what they're going to do to it with the new recoil system. You know, I think that's an aspect overlooked where she has this really good secondary, which has 16 rounds in it. But going along with the recoil, weapon misalignment has been a huge thing talked about. And so basically, if you don't know what weapon misalignment is, say you're looking through an ACOG and you fire 4 shots. The bullets won't line up with where the tip of your sight is. And I think we've all missed a couple of headshots because of weapon misalignment. Now, I don't like to go whine and complain about it, but I believe me and Matt saw a case last night where I was playing Twitch in a 1v5 situation, and I took out 4 people, and I was shooting Rook in the head, and my reticle was on his head, and it didn't give me no headshot.
That's happened to me multiple times.
So, I'm really excited for that. And with this new recoil system, Buck C8 is getting a huge reduction in recoil. And I am so happy because I enjoy playing Buck. Simply for the vertical play, you got to think a little bit, open up your mind to possibilities with that. And I run the Kate over the cameras because in some situations, you'd rather have a fully automatic gun rather than a DMR. And that goes why I believe this new recoil thing is going to hurt Dekebi so much. Because her DMR, you know, it's good, it's spammable, but if you're entering a building with Dekebi, you're probably taking out your SMG. Not to go back to the machine pistol thing, I think we talked about that for a good enough time. But yeah, it's gonna reduce recoil with weapons, and I have seen people hold down the trigger with Buck, and it does not jump up how it used to, or how it does currently in the retail release of the game. I'm really excited for that, and with that, Ella's gun gets a little bit more stable as well. So those are the 2 big things I saw as far as that. I'm really excited for Blackbeard. I've been playing a ton of Blackbeard lately, so I'm excited for that. I believe this is also probably going to help Thermite with his 5.56. Not that I believe Thermite's 5.56 is criminally underpowered. I mean, you have to think is it one of the worst guns in the game? Yes. Slow recoil, doesn't hit very hard. Slow recoil, slow rate of fire, moderate recoil. But yeah, so going back to Hibana, and also the new hatch system, you can now partially destroy hatches. So it used to be if you were Hibana, Hibana's X-Kairos fires 6 pellets. And what you used to do is you'd be able to fire 6 pellets on the hatch, and you could shoot out 5, have one in the corner, and hot breach falling down with the 1 pellet on there. You can no longer do that. They made it at the start of on the TTS. They made it to where you have to have all 6 pellets to destroy a hatch. They reduced it from 6 to 4. It says in order to prevent issues from 1 to 2 pellets not landing properly on the hatch and requiring a second volley of pellets. So basically, I feel like this is a little underlying problem with Hibana. Is sometimes her pellets don't go where they're supposed to go. Like, it has the red outline when you aim it, and sometimes a couple of pellets are a little bit outside that line. I would like to see that fixed, but yeah, so partial hatch destruction now is going to be interesting. We go to Zofia. Zofia is actually getting a nerf. They're reducing the number of her concussion grenades for her lifeline from 4 to 3. It says she currently has too much utility, which leads her being able to burn Jaeger's ADS too easily, or to take a room without much of a contest. The adjustment will require her to be more thoughtful about when and where she chooses to use her concussion grenades. Now, if you don't know, Zofia's concussion grenades they're a mixture between stun grenades, an Echo drone, and Ella's Gersmont mines. And these concussion grenades go off when they are close to someone. So it is very, very valuable for intel, I believe, as well. Which is something they don't directly mention in here, but I mean, you can bounce one of her concussion grenades off a wall, and depending on where you hear it detonate, you know someone's close to there. So that's not too big of a nerf, honestly. Let's get into Glaz. So Glaz is no longer going to be able to destroy Castle's armored panels. And they said originally we had a bug that prevented Glaz from being able to destroy Castle's armored panels, but he could still punch holes through it. As this makes sense, it being bulletproof, and is a positive way of adjusting both operators, we have decided not to fix it. The next step of this interaction will be to prevent Glaz from shooting through the armored panel. We are not able to deliver that at the start, but it is likely coming with the reinforcement patch. Basically, they just needed a way to buff Castle, I believe is all this is. Now, do I think a Glaz nerf is in order? Yeah, a little bit. They finally have started to nerf him over the past about 2 years of not nerfing him at all and only giving him the buff. Before this, his recoil was upped a little bit, and his damage was taken down a little bit. Not that big of a nerf. It's only critical in niche situations. And then I believe the only nerf he'd received before that is they took away one of his smoke grenades. He used to have 3, and now he has 2, as everyone else does. And they indirectly nerfed him when they gave smoke grenades to different operators. Ash and Thermite both used to have smoke grenades, and now I believe they replaced Ash's with stun grenades, so she has a breaching charge and a stun grenade, and they replaced Thermite with a claymore, so he has stuns and claymores now. So the last thing we see here is changes to Dokkaebi. They want to implement a time limit for her phone calls, so 7 to 8 seconds, they say is interesting, but requires user interface development time, and this is not something we can include with Grim Sky, but may look at in the future. So, I believe they're saying for season, is there going to be a season 4, or am I dumb? I don't think there will be a season 4. I don't believe there will be. So basically they're saying, hey, year 4, we might come out with something like this. Um, I don't know if this is due to Clash because I've been in some live streams where Dokebi will call Clash, and the person playing Clash will just sit there and let their phone ring for 3 minutes straight. Because it's like, what are you gonna do? Shoot me? Why would I lower my shield to answer your phone call? So, those are just the patch notes that will, or those are this is the balance update. I apologize. The balance update that is coming with Grim Sky to the full release. So interesting stuff. I think it's funny Maverick got the quickest nerf in Siege history, but so yeah, buffing Castle.
Got out the game yet, and he still got nerfed.
But yeah, buffing Castle. As far as everyone kind of wondering, hey, what's going on with Chanky? They have even said they're putting Tachanka on the back burner, and they are gonna have to do a complete rework with Tachanka. So who knows when that comes?
Lord Savior.
Maybe season 4. Who knows? But that's season 4, year 4. That's kind of where we're sitting as far as when was this published? This was published the 23rd. So just about a week ago. That's kind of where we're sitting. Usually the technical test servers have it 2 weeks before the update comes out. And so this had been running for 1 week already, I believe, due to them making this and then the next week. So that's where we're sitting in the Siege community. Anything you want to talk about before we go, Matt?
Yeah.
Any comments?
Another map that we'll have a difficulty getting used
Oh,
to
that's right, the Hereford remake.
Hereford map. Yep.
Yeah, I completely forgot about the Hereford remake.
Say goodbye to your traditional Hereford map where it's easy, simple.
It's not necessarily that hard. It is very similar. Basically what they did is they just increased the floor plan by like a couple rooms. So each floor is a little bit bigger and it looks a little bit different, but it's still very similar to how it used to look.
I mean, is the map layout going to be the exact same?
The map layout is almost the exact same.
Oh, so it's just going to be one floor after the other.
I believe
to me,
so.
it looks like it's like a giant bunker instead of like an actual single building by itself.
Yeah, it does look a lot different on the inside. It does look a lot different. A little piece of lore they actually added to the Hereford remake is there are 2 planes sitting on the outside of the map, outside of the building. That is, it's in the map, but it says that the 2 planes were reconstructed by a. Ooh, let me find the name. By Marius Stryker. I forgot. So Marius Stryker is Jaeger's real name, so that's a little cool, him being a pilot and very wanting to build things, basically. I think that's a cool little lore they added into the map. They didn't really have to do, but it's kind of there just as a Easter egg. So I like that. But yeah, the map is very similar. With obviously there's going to be differences, but yeah, it's for the most part extremely similar to what it was before. It looks a lot different on the inside, though. It looks a lot different on the inside. Have you heard any news about, are we even getting a new map with the release of this season, or are we just getting the Hereford remake? I know they're remaking Hereford, but they're also quote unquote buffing Consulate. the same way they did with Clubhouse, how, you know, Clubhouse used to have that little indention between money and bedroom. That's not there anymore. Now it's completely roofed over. And they have the construction room in between bedroom and money. They're doing that type of remapping with Consulate to prevent spawn peeking. So that's what I heard, is they were moving a wall on the police spawn, and they were putting a wall somewhere else just to prevent spawn peeking. So
I was about to say, that's one of the okay, I'm about to
that's
expose
that's
myself.
what I read.
I said one of the consoles that there's that one room, I don't know what the room's called, but it's like
I hope I'm thinking of the right map.
It's primal spawn peeking material. Like, you go in there and you can just easily you'll get one, and then if you're pretty good, you'll get two. But like by the time you kill those two, everybody's aware of your situation. Then you're like, oh shit, I got a scattle.
I got a scattle.
I was gonna say skedaddle.
Skedaddle,
Like,
yeah. I got you. Also, Frost is getting an elite skin. That's a thing. I think it looks okay.
Nick's disappointed. Nick hates
it. I mean, it looks okay. I don't see... So Rainbow Six big thing is we don't want our game to be pay to win. Which, first off, let me tell you, it technically is pay to win. It technically is. If you buy darker skins, people are going to have a harder time seeing you, especially with the recent maps that have come out have been fairly dark. If you look at the new Hereford remake, is dark. Favela is really dark. Yacht can be dark. Favela is dark, dude. Favela is dark. Tower for the most part is light, but in certain spots, elevator, it is impossible to see some people. Vigil, Caveira, Pulse. But yeah, I think it's... I almost wonder if they have different people working on different maps. Because you take Coastline. Coastline is a very different map from, let's say, Chalet. Chalet is a little bit more somber, I think, as far as inside the building. It's a little, not necessarily dark, but it's darker. And Coastline, very, very light, very, you know, vivid type map. So I almost wonder if they have different people working and different people creating maps that are like the quote-unquote lead designers for it. Still working with the same people in the department, but they just change over a different lead designer to keep ideas kind of fresh. I wonder if that's something that's going on. I think I'm done unless you just really create something for me to think about. Do you have any other comments?
That possible Blitz elite skin that we saw.
Oh, the leak, yeah. The Blitz leak. They are changing Blitz's eyes to blue, though, which I will admit makes him look a little bit more terrifying.
What?
Yeah, they're changing Blitz's eyes to blue instead of brown.
No. The part where you're terrified.
Have you seen his clown headgear?
No.
It is like 5 times more scarier with blue eyes.
Hold on, let me look at this.
I'm telling you, it is like his eyes are brown right now, but it is a lot more terrifying with blue. It's like he's staring into my soul.
Headgear.
It was like back in Operation Health when Doc looked like he was about to cut me open and steal my kidney.
What?
Yeah, you don't remember the way fucking Doc looked at Operation Health, and he was just kind of sitting there with like his fucking his hand on his chin, like he's in deep thought, like how the fuck am I gonna take this dude's kidneys? That's what it made me feel like. I feel like he was trying to organ rob me.
Blitz. Oh, there it is. looking like it over here.
Looking like Pennywise.
Yeah, looking like Pennywise over here.
So yeah, I think we're gonna go hop on Siege for a while. Unless, you know, I don't want to cut you off if you have something you want to talk about.
Pretty much covered everything. Pretty much covered everything.
Frost bear traps look like 50 times more scary though.
They look like an actual bear trap instead of just
That shit looks like
bars
teeth.
coming together.
That shit looks like
Yeah,
teeth.
Look, teeth.
Teeth.
Not teeth. Teeth.
Teeth.
With an F. T-E-F. Teeth.
Yep. So, alright. Well, the second quarter in this game isn't even over yet. There's still 5 minutes in the second quarter to go. I think I put the quarters on a little too long.
Yeah, you think?
I had them on 15 minutes. So,
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, we've almost been here for an hour. So, all right. Appreciate everyone coming in. We'll probably have a Siege podcast. Usually whenever.
Playing a game and not talking.
Huh?
So we'll probably have a Siege podcast of us playing instead of talking next time.
Yeah, we'll see. I kind of didn't think that far ahead as far as how this podcast was gonna go, so I think we'll definitely work. But the next one will probably be when another patch is about to hit. That seems to be when there's the most to talk about, unless there's a big issue in the community. If you're a PC player, two-step verification is required to play ranked now. I don't know how many people that affects that are here on my channel, but
Okay, I'm about to lay down some facts rather.
Oh God, oh that scares me.
You want to know how you can tell?
I thought you were about to say you want to know what finna nut means, and I'm like, stop it, that's my line.
Anyways, how to tell if someone on Siege is being sweaty? You're on console, and you can clearly tell they're using a mouse
and keyboard. I have been accused of using a mouse and keyboard while using a SCUF controller, though. So, SCUF, please sponsor me.
I mean,
please sponsor.
I mean, you can tell when someone's using a SCUF and a mouse, because like, if they're like, when their like sensitivity is like super fast, it's like straight, and then like a dead stop. That's a little weird. Unless you're like, you sit there and practice your turns and like you're a little kid.
You're a little kid, sit there and practice your turns.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Practice your turns like your first driver's test.
Jesus. How can I team kill you from Madden?
I ask myself that same question every time.
Alright, well, I think we're gonna switch, I'm gonna switch over to Twitch. Man, I'm gonna put you on the hot seat here. When you gonna stream, bro?
Oh fuck.
Oh, I put Matt on the hot seat. When you gonna put together those compilations of me saying dumb shit, though? Oh, I'm putting him on the hot seat now, guys.
I did say if I got more time and I had better internet, because at the time when he asked me, I was having problems. But I'm having a better internet, and I'm not having any games lag on me much anymore. And Madden probably didn't like it all when I played Madden the other day. So I don't know. It just.
Oh, I put him on. I exposed him. Exposed.
Well, first I need to learn how to edit. First I need to learn how to edit properly, and then I have a lot of stuff that I saved, like footage I've saved so far that I just sort of like I'll see it and I'll just save it.
You got a couple of highlights you saved too. A couple of spawn peaks.
Yeah, I got a couple of spawn peaks I have saved. I got some good plays on me, and I've actually been looking at Nick's screen. I've saved some of his plays and be like, see, this is where I fucked up. Okay?
Don't you have like an ace or two in there?
Yeah.
I know you have one where I wasn't playing. You were soloing.
Yeah, I have two aces that I soloed. I saved the one from when I was on Ella. That like Nick accused me of being like.
Oh yeah, I was like, who hurt you?
Dude, that was so good.
Who pissed in your Fruit Loops?
and I can't remember who the other ace was. I think it was on offense. I think I got an ace with Twitch. No, I got an ace with Fuse because I fused 3 people in the room, killed them, putting the other 2 down with my light machine gun. I think I'd have to go back and look, but I have a few things saved, and I won't have them saved because Nick and me are talking about something. But when I go back to watch them,
I'll be back.
his voice isn't there, so I don't understand why they're not there. But I just need to learn how to properly edit. I'm pretty sure Nick will have to sit there and guide me through it because it's gonna be a lot more difficult to guide someone through like. It's hard for you to understand tech support through the damn phone. I'm one of those people you have to visually show me where to go to. You can't just be like, all right, what does this say? Does it say this, and that? And then you just gotta. It's just frustrating because I'd rather have someone there to point straight to it instead of having to read it and search for it. But as soon as I guess it'll probably. I guess about after Halloween, cause I guess about after Halloween I'll get a Twitch and YouTube started up.
Matt covered me so I could go use the bathroom.
I got a lot.
That's what I was using you for.
Planned. I got a lot of stuff planned between now and like past Halloween, so probably start around November. I'll start up a Twitch and a YouTube and get working on that. Not gonna be anything big, just something to.
It's gonna be huge, boys.
Oh yeah. You're gonna get all the. You're gonna get behind the scenes.
Matt's gonna get more subs than I will. Matt's gonna make an exposed video on me.
I am.
All right, we're gonna switch over to Siege on Twitch, so I'll see you guys there. Nope, I'm cutting you off. Nope, I'm cutting you off. They don't need to know. They don't need to know. Why isn't Siege starting?